Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Troller. 1972 to 1975.
Game 581, Orioles at Rangers. Welcome back, baseball fans. The 1972-75 Carryover League. Tonight, we are back in the race for the pennant tournament. And we got a game between the Orioles and the Rangers. Show you how this has shook out. How'd it play out? Why are we playing this particular matchup? Okay, all that stuff. Here we are, way over here in this spreadsheet that started haphazardly many years ago, and it looks like crap. I understand that. The other ones are, kind of clean and nice. This thing's just a mess, I have to admit. It's pretty bad. But anyway, over here somewhere. Oh, here we go. We have the 3-game eliminations, the third and final round of this tournament. If you recall, round 1 was to get rid of 8 fourth-place clubs. Round 2 was to get rid of 8 more. And now we have 16 of our 32 teams left. We've got a 7th and 8th team that needs to go away before the playoffs begin. Right now, in this quadrant here, doesn't indicate it, of course, make it more confusing to look at. 5, 6, 7, 8 in the American League. 5, 6, 7, 8 in the National League. Seeded based on winning percentage. And the needs. Remember, there's 3 games available. Doesn't mean it's always a best of 3, but it can be. In the case of Texas at Baltimore, separated by a single game, best of 3. In the case of the Expos and the Royals, separated by a half a game, best of 3. In the National League, much more difficult. Phillies are 3 games behind the Reds, have to win all 3. They'd be put in a tie, and of course they'd have the tiebreaker. They ripped off 3 straight wins against them. Atlanta and Pittsburgh, slightly less difficult. Atlanta needs to win 3 out of 4. But tonight is Texas and Baltimore. Let's take a look at what happened in Game 1 in Baltimore. I always make sure that the team who is down to elimination gets to play the game at home. And Baltimore has home field for Game 1. And they have Mike Paul for the Rangers against Mike Cuellar. A couple of Mike lefties. And it's a really well-played, well-pitched game. It is scoreless. Both pitchers, they're putting 3 men on through 5 innings. But in the 6th, Bobby Grich walk, a Doug DeCinces double, and then a Kenny Singleton 2-run single. It's 2-0. The Rangers get a chance in the 7th. They get a walk, but then they get a fly out. Bottom of that inning, a single, a double, a sac fly by Mark Belanger. 3-0. In the 9th, the Rangers... It's funny, the last time we saw Texas, Toby Harrah homered in the 9th inning to eliminate the Blue Jays. He homers in the 9th inning again to make it 3-1. Dave Nelson singles. Cuellar gets Burrows to fly out. And then, for Tom Grieve, they go to... Because they have bullpen by committee now. It used to be Dick Hall. And then Bob Reynolds. Well, they're both gone. Grant Jackson's a lefty. They wanted a righty against Grieve, and they went with Joe Horland. Former Chicago White Sox reliever. He gets the final out. He gets the save. Baltimore gets the win 3-1, making their overall lead a full 2 games with a possible 2 games left. So when we look at the overall standings, you'll see that reflected. In the American League, up here, Baltimore is +5 over 500. And down here, the Rangers are +1. So 5 minus 1 is 4. Split that number in half, and it's 2, and that's 2 games behind with 2 to play. That's how you figure that out. Rangers 8, Baltimore 5. The other thing about this is that Baltimore is trying to win the American League East. As a matter of fact, Baltimore can only win the American League East. The Red Sox have clinched. If Baltimore wins the American League East, the Red Sox will be the wild card. If Baltimore loses the next 2 games to Texas, the Red Sox win the American League East, and Texas is the wild card. So, no danger. If Baltimore wins one of these games, the best they can do is 6 over 500. So, no danger to the Chi Sox here or the A's here. They seem to be locked in at 1s and 2s. Enough of that. We are in Texas, as you can tell by the soundtrack. Today, in a game 2, we have Jim Palmer for Baltimore in a closeout game on the road. And for the, well, let me give you the stats. Hang on here. Jim Palmer, yep, Cy Young, 22-game winner with a 2.40 ERA in 296 innings. And he'll battle against, last time we saw this guy, folks, Steve Perzanowski. Last time we saw Steve pitch on YouTube, the Blue Jays got 24 hits off the Rangers and won 14-6. But we think he has taken his medicine and he's feeling much better now. Steve in 75 was 3-3 with an ERA of 3 in 66 innings. If the Rangers were to win this game, Game 3 would be back in Baltimore. And the pitching matchup in a closeout game is bizarre. It'll be David Clyde for the Rangers because they've played literally every day without a day off. So David Clyde, swing starter, would go in Game 3 versus Baylor Moore. A battle of young hotshot lefties who didn't last much in the bigs. That's your matchup in Game 3 if there is one. Let's not put the cart before the horse, though, folks, because that's where it's supposed to be. Leading off for Baltimore, it'll be Al Bunbury. 63, short X. Oh, boy, we're going to start the day off with a ground ball to Toby Harrah. Oh, no, not in a playoff, not in a play-in game. He's a 3.32 short, very reasonable, but he has been, that's a single. He has been dreadful. There's a ground ball B. Toby Harrah improving his fielding percentage. It's about 60% now. That's not bad. Bobby Grich, 57 is a K. And Kenny Singleton, 58, short X again. 3.32 shortstop. And it's... and Toby lets another one get through the wickets here. Well, he's 50-50 in this game. We thought it was going to get to maybe 70%, maybe 80%. I don't know. Yeah, Toby Harrah has been absolutely horrendous this year in the field. Of course, he's one of the top hitting shortstops in the entire sport, and so give him credit for that. Singleton reaches on the base hit, and it's Lee May. 1-7, homer 1, fly ball the rest, and it's a fly ball the rest. No need for the excitement. Bottom of 1. Here is Toby Harrah, 59, rolls a second. Mike Hargrove, 57. This guy is a center. Len Randall, 46, is a walk. Ace Steeler, they're going to try and steal. And he's out on a 17. Baltimore's catching Chris Cannizzaro today, a free agent instead of Earl Williams. Interesting move. Top of the second, Paul Blair. 38 for Paul is a walk. Now you got Tom Hutton. When Tom Hutton talks, people listen. I think we're going to have a hit and run for Tom. This is the 11 that moves the runner up. No stolen base attempts. So Blair goes to second for Brooks Robinson. Brooksy grounds short, and with 2 outs, it's Chris Cannizzaro, 1-4, grounds to short. Bottom of the second, it's Burrows. 39 is a grounder to short. You know, Palmer has a pretty mediocre record this year. I think he's 500, like 6-6 or something. It's not that glamorous. So the Rangers are feeling somewhat comfortable, even though they're down 0-1 in the series. Mike Epstein, 111, grounds the first. And Joe LaHood, 2-2, rolls to first. Top of the third, it's Mark Belanger, 68, pops to short. Baltimore went with their defensive lineup today. There's only one player on the bench that they would bring in for defensive substitution. They like to use their great defense on the road, help their pitching staff. sacrifice some hitting. Whoops. Al Bunbury. Speaking of sacrificing some hitting, he strikes out. And with 2 outs, it's Bobby Grich. 1-3. Flies to right. Baltimore up to their old tricks again. Dave Nelson, 63 off Palmer. Second X. Grich is a 1-20. Makes the play. Dave Rader, 68. Pops the second. And boots are made for grounding the third. Boots day. Grounds the third. 9 up and down with a walk and a caught stealing. Top of the 4th. It's Ken Singleton. 1-6 is a walk. A lot of walks for Kenny, as you can imagine. Lee May. Almost homered the first time up. 3-11, a walk to Lee May. 2 on. No one out for Paul L.D. Blair. 49 is second X. This is Dave Half Nelson. He's a 3-12 second baseman. But it's a single dot off of Dave. And that's the... Unfortunately for Texas, their defense is terrible. I'm being nice. Hargrove's a 2. That's great. Dave Nelson's a 3-12. 3-32 at short. We got 3-26 at third. All 4s in the outfield. LaHood's a 3. I forgot. Yeah, Greaves on the bench. Burrows is 4. Boots stays at 3. Yeah, their defense is a little bit better against right-handed pitching. But yeah, they often do put Frank Howard in left field still, which is a little scary. Anyway, bases loaded, nobody out. In a scoreless game, I think you got to play it back. You got to hope for a double play here. The batter's Tom Hutton. 46 is a base hit to left field. Singleton will score. Lee May, 12 runner, will hold up, not trying to run out of the inning. 1-0 Baltimore, and it's Brooks Robinson. Right-hander. It's around 250. I think you still got to play it back. We're not in that dire straits yet. Texas has some offense. Brooksy, 58. Sac fly to right field. Okay. First and second, 1 out. 2-0 game. Chris Cannizzaro. 2-4. And that is a 5-4-3 double play. So that's relatively reasonable way of getting out of the jam. 2-0. Could have been worse. Bottom of the 4th. It'll be Toby Harrah. 54 off of Palmer. There it is. The homer chance. It's Homer. 1-14 off Jim Palmer. And it's gone. Toby Harrah hit 20 of those. In 1975. Third baseman, shortstop, second baseman back then. Eventually settles into full-time third base. Shortstop now. Probably better suited to be third base, I guess. Maybe that's why the bad fielding this year. But we got a 2-1 game. And it's Mike Hargrove. 37's a walk. Len Randall, 66, and another walk. And these Rangers, they can hit, boy. Yeah. They're one of the top offenses in the league. So, yeah, you better pay attention, Baltimore. Jeff Burrows, 59, second C. Second to third, let's bring the infield up for Mike Epstein. 46 is a walk. Base is loaded for LaHood. Let's check the card. There's lots of ground ball Bs on it. Let's keep it up. Infield up for LaHood. 1-3, Joe LaHood. Let's take a look at the Joe LaHood card. You know, the thing about Jim Palmer is that in his major league career, the Hall of Famer, 268 wins, pitched the 1966 World Series as a 20-year-old, never gave up a grand slam. Joe LaHood, it's a grand slam. Joe LaHood had 12 homers in 1972. For the Milwaukee Brewers with a 237 average, but 1-3 is gone. You walk the bases loaded, then surrender the granny. That is pretty weak. Pretty weak there, Cakes. My goodness. 5-2. Told you these Rangers. You don't want to mess with these guys. Trouble down in Texas. Dave Nelson, 1-6, grounds the third. And Dave Rader, 36, grounds the short. Top of the 5th, it's Belanger, 48, walks. B. Steeler, down 3, won't run. Al Bunbury, 59, second C, runner in scoring position for Bobby Grich. 2-11 grounds the third, and with 2 outs, it's Kenny Singleton, 59, grounds the second. You know, after the shocking obliteration of Steve Perzanowski in his last start, With a 5-2 lead, you might want to hook the dude before he has even a chance to lose, just to give him some confidence. So, even if it's in the 6th inning, he's a starter 7, but there's no reason to put him in danger of a loss at this point. Bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
All right, it's the Boots of Day. 35 flies to right. Toby Hara, 49, second X. Scritch, a 1E20. Makes the play. And Mike Hargrove. 2-5 for Hargrove is a grounder to second. And the Rangers have 5 runs on 2 hits today. And they lead 5-2. It's pretty sad, really. Lee May leads off in the 6th. 1-3 is a fly to right. Paul Blair, 39, walks. Do you want to steal down 3? No. Want to hit and run? No. No, we don't do those things anymore. We just turn the cards. Tom Hutton, 1-8. That's 4-6-3 double play. Yep, just turn them cards over. Get this thing over with, is what they're saying. Send this thing back to Baltimore. We're done. We gave up 5 runs in 4 innings already, so we're done here. Bottom of the 5th, Len Randall. The offensively challenged Orioles. They usually hit somewhere between 232 and 240 in most seasons, destroying the virtue of an incredible pitching staff. Anyway, Len Randall leads off, 67, pops out. Jeff Burrows, 2-5, base hit. You know, if these teams combined rosters, you could have a powerhouse. My goodness, the Baltimore pitching staff and the Ranger offense, that combined is the World Series team. Fortunately, we don't do things like that, but that would have been fun to see. Mike Epstein, 63, first X. Hutton's a 2E9. That's a base hit. 2 on for Joe LaHood, who gets an ovation from the Texas crowd in Arlington. 57 flies to right. And with 2 outs, Dave Nelson. 2-8 is single dot. Well, they finally get their 5th hit, but now they've got a 6th run. So they still have more runs than hits. Runners on the corners for Dave Rader. 38 grounds to first. If you're wondering about Palmer, so in the second round of the tournament, he pitched game 1, got lit up by Oakland. Then they had 5 days off, and here he is. So, yeah. There we go. 6-2, 7th inning. Perzanowski continues. What a comeback story after the blistering loss. Brooks Robinson, 33, lines to third. Chris Can of whatever, 55, short X. Oh, Toby Hara, 332, trying to improve the fielding percentage. He's a 3. E32, and he makes the play. Every little bit helps for Toby. Mark Belanger, 67, lines of first. 6-2, bottom of 7. I guess we'll stick with Palmer. Boots Day, 49, short X. Belanger's a 1E24, high E rating. Toby Hara, 68, left. And Hargrove, 2-4, center. We blitzed right through. We moved so quickly. We moved right through the 7th inning stretch time music. And I'm not going to omit that. I'll do it right now after the 7th inning. Post stretch time music. We have been enjoying listening to ZZ Top's incredible first album. Something that somehow doesn't get remembered as much. But this is like the best one. The very first one. You're going to be like, really? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it went downhill from there. I certainly ain't saying that. But this record's incredible. Little Brown Sugar here in the top of the 8th inning in Texas. And it'll be Bunbury leading off for Baltimore. 410, center X. 3E1. Makes the grab. Bobby Grich, 67. Pops to first. Kenny singled in 2-7, the single, and with 2 outs. Lee May, 58, flies to right field. This Steve Perzanowski, who gave up 24 hits to the Blue Jays. Well, he didn't give up all 24. Most of them, though. He has tamed the Baltimore. It is 6-2. Palmer will leave. We'll have Dyer Miller pitch the 8th for Baltimore. It'll be Len Randall. 2-8's a base hit for Len. Burrows. 2-5. Base hit right field. Randall. 17 plus 1 arm. He goes to third on 18. On the corners, Epstein. Mike. Center question mark. We'll tag up. Oh, it's close. 17, 18, 19. Paul Blair has a -2 arm, makes it a 17. Out on an 18. So give Paul Blair some credit there. Gunned down a 17 runner in a 6-2 game. Joe LaHood, 2-5, third. And it's going to change my life. Brown sugar, my goodness. I mean, Billy is just out of the moving sidewalks here, you know? Hugely influenced by 13th floor elevators and all that Texas stuff in the late 60s. My goodness, folks, what an LP. Anyway, 6-2 game in the 9th. We're going to pull Perzanowski and go right to our closer, Steve Foucault, because he's much better. 8 and 9, 2 1/4 earned run average. His best year, arguably, in 74, 144 innings for Billy Martin, managing the Rangers in that year to a surprise winning record. In the 9th, the Rangers will. There's no defense to bring in. They're all the best they have is out there. It'll be Paul Blair leading off the 9th for Baltimore. 4-11, right X. Your right fielder is Burrows. 48 in right field, and he catches the ball. Burrows, nice grab there. Tom Hutton, 1-7's a base hit. And it's B-roll. Brooks Robinson. Brooksy pops to short. And with 2 outs, it's Chris Cannizzaro, 64. Catcher's X. It's a 2-14. And this game is over on the 2 wild pitch to end the game. Pretty paint by the numbers, I like to say, game there. No real wrinkles. It's just, you know, it's just your basic walk the bases loaded, serve up a grand slam ball game kind of game. Perzanowski with the win. Jim Palmer takes the loss. Game 3, back in Baltimore. This for a playoff berth. Winner of Game 3 goes to the playoffs. In the case of Baltimore, they'd win their division. In the case of the Rangers, a potential 5 or 6 seed with playing in the wild card round. Team to be determined. But the astonishing matchup is still Baylor Moore for the Orioles and a young 18-year-old just out of his high school prom, David Clyde for Texas. I'll have the results of that after the break, so stay tuned. All right, baseball fans, here is the box score of the game you just saw. It was the Texas Rangers holding off Baltimore 6-2. Did it with base runners without hits and everybody scoring. The Rangers left. Did he leave anybody on base at all? Let's see. He got caught stealing. All those guys scored. That guy scored. They left 3 men on base. The Rangers had 6 runs on 7 hits. Basically, Jim Palmer went 7 innings, gave up 5 hits, 4 walks, 6 runs, no strikeouts. And Perzanowski, 8 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 5 walks, 2 Ks. Rangers win 6-2. Setting up an improbable pitching matchup for Game 3. 2 wonderkin. Baylor Moore, a toss-in in the Dave McNally, Kenny Singleton trade. We made this trade a little more retro. Matter of fact, Baltimore's using a Montreal Ken Singleton card. The Expos are using a Baltimore Dave McNally card. But we tossed Baylor Moore and Bob Reynolds into the deal to balance it out. Those pitchers would have some flame in them in early 70s, and then flame out. More will return later in the decade for Toronto. And he'll face David Clyde, who just went to his high school prom not too long ago. Game 5. Or Game 3. Number 5 starter David Clyde. Number 4 starter Baylor Moore. Top of the second inning. A walk to Burrows. A single to Grieve. After 2 outs, the timely hitting Rangers get a 2-run double by Mike Hargrove. 2-zip. They don't leave men on base, folks. You get on, you score. That'll win you a lot of games. As opposed to Baltimore. In the 4th inning, DeCinces walked, Earl Williams singled, Paul Blair walked, Brooks Robinson walked. They get a run. Left the bases loaded. 2-1 affair. Both pitchers navigate the 5 innings with shaky control, but not a lot of hits. Baylor Moore's pulled after 5. Ends with a no decision. 2 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 3 Ks. David Clyde pitched 5 innings, qualified for the win. Then they left him in there in the 6th because a left-hander, Al Bumbry, was due up. Well, that didn't work because Bumbry tripled. Bumbry was only in there because Ken Singleton got injured. He tripled, scored on a sac fly Earl Williams. Games tied at 2. Then in the 7th inning, you get a ground out, you get a strikeout. Wayne Garland's pitching for Baltimore. A 2-out walk by Mike Hargrove, then a lazy fly ball to left field. Dick Sharon, he loses it in the lights somehow. We don't know. He's a 2 left fielder. Don't know how you could drop a fly ball, but he does. And then, of course, Toby Harrah gets the 2-out, 2-run single, 2 unearned runs. And once again, the Rangers, they score runs. They don't leave anybody on base. They have 4 runs on 1, 2, 3 hits at this point. Anyway, it's a 4-2 game. Grant Jackson comes on in the 9th for the big old can of kerosene. Gives up 3 hits and a run. It's 5-2. Baltimore rallies in the bottom of the 9th. Off by this time, Paul Lindblad after Wayne Granger. Granger's the pitcher of record. Lindblad trying to get a 2-inning save. 9th inning, Brooks Robinson grounds out. Then you get a Lemay single. Dick Sharon, actually, I forgot to mention, Lemay hits a ground ball to Toby Harrah, and he misplays it into a single. Then Dick Sharon hits a ground ball to Toby Harrah, and he plays it into an error. Probably his 40th or 50th by this point. I've lost track. Then Belanger pops out. 2 outs, 2 on. Bobby Grich singles. And Doug DeCinces is the batter. And they bring in Steve Foucault, the right-handed closer, to face DeCinces. He gets double 1 and 19. It's like a ground rule double. 2 runners score. There's a runner at third. DeCinces at second. It's 5-4. There's 2 outs. There's a base open. And Foucault doesn't want to face the lefty Bumbry. He wants to face the righty Earl Williams. So he intentionally walks Bumbry to load the bases. Baltimore has other plans. They pinch hit Tom Hutton for Earl Williams because he's left-handed. And Tom Hutton rolls single 1-18 to tie the game. Except, of course, he rolled a 20 and missed the 90% chance to tie the thing 5-5. And that's how Baltimore's season ends. 5-4. The Texas Rangers, Cinderella, beat Baltimore, which is probably a good thing. This Oriole team, pretty bad. Fantastic pitching. It's a pretty lame offense. Let's look at the stats. Start with Baltimore. Losing 2 out of 3 to the Rangers. They finished 22-19. Baltimore scored 165 runs, gave up 178. They had a 396 earned run average. They had 237. Their top hitter was Kenny Singleton. He had a nice year. He was 37 for 143. He had 259 to lead the club. Brooks Robinson was 34 for 164. He had 207. Oh, we got some really bad offense here, though. Bobby Grich, He was 31 for 150. Bobby Grich at 207. How about Paul Blair, you're wondering? 29 for 154. 188. So Baltimore's offense stunk up the joint just like they did in 1972, wasting some brilliant pitching performances. Jim Palmer was 5-8. Palmer had an ERA of 4.21. Now your Rangers, 20-17, tied with Baltimore, but they have the tiebreaker, and they also have a better winning percentage. The Rangers are hitting .282 with a 3.74 ERA. Both those marks are better than Baltimore's. They've scored 209 runs and given up 163. Both of those are better than Baltimore. They are the more deserving team, folks. And when you look at the overall, it was a best of 3. Texas wins 2-1. Texas 20-17. They'll advance. Baltimore's 22-19. Overall standings, we can now crown a division champion in the American League East. Your Boston Red Sox, by watching TV and avoiding playing any baseball games, have won the American League East. They won the tiebreaker for Detroit for the 3 seed. And they'll play either the Royals or the Expos. Looks like the Rangers are going to play the Tigers. But that's still to be determined. Rangers break up the Texas Rangers. They beat Baltimore 2-1. Thanks for checking this out, and we'll see you next time.